What is going on YouTube? It is 3:47 AM and the live stream for Warlord. I always say that. WoW Legion, okay? It's World of Warcraft Legion. I've got WOD stuck in my head when I go to explain the game or the expansions. But anyway, we're going to jump into the details that they covered and that I took notes on. I stayed up pretty late, as I just said, to get this. So I'm just going to tell you what I wrote down, what I found interesting, and hopefully you can get all the information that you came to look for instead of just reading about it, because no one likes to read. So I'm actually going to I already have made a video on the Demon Hunter. So if you want to find out more about just the new class specifically, go and find that video as well. I'm going to make one on the PvP honor system, but I will cover them briefly just in this video. So start off, there's 5 new areas that they spoke about. Valshara, Stormheim, Asuna, High Mountain, and Surima. I can't even read my own writing hardly. Surima is going to have a new race of elves. They didn't say what type, but they're going to be there to quest with. High Mountain is going to be the home to the High Mountain Tauren, where they said the biggest creatures will be. Asuna is where we're going to discover ghosts of the ancient night elves, and Stormheim will uncover the fate of a main character that I did not get the name of. But anyway, so they're the names of the new zones. Not too much information or screenshots and stuff on what's going to be exactly in them, but they gave us, you know, a little statement to go with it, and that's what I noted down and let you know about right then. The new level cap is going to be level 110. We have the new, as I mentioned before, the new class Demon Hunter to play. More customization options when it comes to creating classes such as horns, tattoos, skin variations like you can have scales. A new PvP honor system, which I'll cover in a video in detail, but pretty much you can prestige like in Call of Duty. So it's an interesting thing. WoW has always been, or Blizzard has always been, the best company that I've ever seen in the world of taking other games' ideas and putting it into their own in a pretty good fashion. So going to be cool to see what happens there. You kind of unlock, it's their way to break apart this new honor system, to break apart PvE and PvP. Because in PvP, you're going to be able to unlock these new talents that can only work in battlegrounds and arenas. And, you know, it makes you more powerful, and then you can prestige to get cosmetic items and like logos on your portrait, and instead lose your abilities and go back up from level 1 to 50 again. So gonna have a lot of pride walking around with, you know, your special portrait showing how good you are at PvP and things like that. So I think it's a really good addition to the game. We also have, they called it champions. Now this is a take off the garrison followers. Well, they called it the evolution of followers. So you're going to have fewer, but they're going to be more meaningful. They said, think Knights of the Round Table. So it was an interesting statement they had there. And they're not going to actually go out and do things for you like they have in WoD. Instead, they will do things such as discover lairs that you can then go and search and, you know, go through yourself. And they pretty much just stated that you're going to work with them. So that is cool. No one, or I mean, garrisons were alright, but they did, you know, that idea of everyone sitting AFK in the garrison and waiting for your followers to do stuff came about for a reason. So I think they're trying to get away from that. They've seen that it was happening themselves, so that's a cool way to try and change it. There's also going to be new dungeons and raids, as always. I think they said 2 raids at launch. One with 10 bosses, the other one with 7. Didn't write the names down of that, but I did write down a dungeon name is Vault of the Wardens, because it had something to do with beginning the hunt for Illidan. So they didn't really drop too much information on him, other than him being like the main character in the actual pre-release trailer. And we have a lot to look forward to with that. The last thing I want to move on to right here, I was just scanning through my notes. I pretty much covered everything. Necrotic Strike for DKs is back, but that's going to be something that comes about later on down the track with more information. but it is to do with the artifact weapons and class orders. So the way I read it, as these things go hand in hand, where depending on what class you play, you have a certain kind of quest line, I guess you'll call it, to follow. So there's going to be 36 artifacts, and that's for each spec in the game. Okay, so every spec's going to have their own thing to do, and this is going to be going about such as, there's a statement here I've written down, or an example, okay? So if you're a Frost DK, you're going to be going to the base of Ice Crown and retrieving the shards of Frostmourne to make your own cool ass weapon. Okay, so every character, so every spec is going to do that in their own way. And they made it seem like a big deal, like this weapon of yours is something you're going to put a lot of time into and level up. You spend artifact power to unlock traits and customize your weapon. So this gives you bonus abilities, like the DK could cast Raise Aloe on themselves, being able to res themselves, kind of like, I guess you'll see it as Soulstone for Warlocks, how when they die they can res, except you don't have to like put it on yourself, you just use it and you res yourself up if you have that ability on your weapon. There's also some crazy transmog when it comes to it as well. I've got some screenshots, I'll try and put them up as long as I don't get hit with copyright. But that pretty much wraps it up. Beta end of this year, they said, so that's to look forward to, and that about wraps it up. So more videos coming soon. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.